Welcome back friends. So we are on our next shortcuts with respect to workbook basics. We are going to see 11 different types of shortcuts in this particular tutorial. Without wasting any time, let's start with the first shortcut for opening a workbook. Okay, so if I have previously viewed various workbooks or various Excel sheet and I want to open one of that, what I can do is I can just make use of Control and O key. So let's click on Control and O and you can open recent workbooks. So whatever I had used before, you can make use of that workbook. Just click on that and it will be open. Okay, so Control and O for opening a workbook. So for going back again, I may click on this arrow or you can just click on escape. So Control O we have seen. If you want to open a new workbook, what you can do is you can make use of Control and N. Suppose I am in this workbook of Excel shortcuts and I want to open a particular workbook wherein I want to note down something with respect to shortcuts. I do not want to write anything in my main file. What I can do is I can just make use of this shortcut, that is by pressing Control and N. So I'm just pressing Control N and you can see a new workbook, that is book 1 Excel is now open. So anything that I want to note down with respects to the shortcuts, notes on shortcuts, I can note down in this specific workbook. Okay, next shortcut that we have is to save the workbook. Very important shortcut. I would advise you that whenever you're working in Excel particularly, or anything with respect to editing, what you can do is always just keep on clicking Control S. Now whatever I am doing, Control S I just did right now, it happens in split of a second and it is not visible actually what happens, but in this case what you're doing is you are saving your workbook. So in times when the Excel can crash, if you have the habit of pressing Control S after certain time intervals, you can recover your data. Okay, so Control S for saving the workbook. In previous tutorials we have seen something with respect to print options. So Control P is the shortcut for printing a workbook. Let's click on Control P and you can see all the print options that we have seen are now visible. Even the page layout is now visible. Everything that we have seen before is now visible. So Control P can be the shortcut used for printing a workbook. Control W is for closing a workbook. So I'll not make use of Control W for this specific workbook. Let's go to another sheet that I had just opened, the new Excel, and I'll press Control W and it is asking me whether you want to save your changes. You want to save it, if you don't want to save it, you can choose any option. I don't want to save it and the workbook is now closed. So Control W is for closing your workbook. Workbook basics, navigation, these are single worksheet. If I want to insert a worksheet, what I usually do is I click on this plus sign for inserting new worksheet. Another option which I generally do not use, but I just want you to know that this is an option available, you just click on Shift and F11. So I'll just click on Shift and F11. You can see a new worksheet is now added besides the navigation sheet. Okay, so I'll just delete it. I do not want it. I'll delete it. So Shift and F11 is for inserting a new worksheet. Now this four things are very important. These are the options for hiding the rows and columns and simultaneously unhiding them. So what is the general approach when I want to hide a specific row? What I do is I go to the row which I want to hide. Suppose I want to hide row 6. I do not want anyone to see whatever I have written in row 6. So I've selected this row 6. I'll right click and click on hide. So now it is hidden, and when I want to unhide this, I'll select row 5 and 7. I'll right click and I'll select unhide so that my row 6 is again visible. But there is an option wherein you can directly make use of it, the shortcut of Control 9, and you can hide the specific row. So since I want to hide row 6, what I'll do is I'll select row 6 and press Control and 9. So can you see my row 6 is now hidden? Similarly, there is an option for unhiding the selected or the hidden row. So the option is Control Shift and 9. Okay, so just Shift is added. Can you see the difference? For hiding it is Control 9, and for unhiding it, it is Control Shift and 9. So I'll select these two specific rows in which my row 6 is hidden, and I'll press Control Shift and 9. So Control Shift and 9. So can you see my row 6 is now unhidden. So this was with respect to hiding of the rows. Let's come to hiding and unhiding of the columns. So the general approach for hiding a column is selecting the column, right click and hide it. And once you want to unhide it, select the two columns in which the column is hidden, right click and click on unhide. Okay, so now we are going to make use of this shortcut wherein you are going to make use of Control O. So select this column and click on Control and O. Okay, so I'm clicking on Control and O. Can you see the column E is now hidden? And if I want to unhide this, I'll select these two columns and press Control Shift and O. So I'll press Control Shift and O. So my column E is now unhidden. So these are the shortcuts for hiding and unhiding your columns. Last but not the least is the spell check shortcut, which is F7. So this is specifically used when you want to make sure that you have used all the text or all the spellings that you have inputted are correct in Excel, and you want to check if you have inputted something wrong. So Excel can do that for you. So let's type some wrong spelling. Okay, Excel, I have written double X, which is wrong. So let's click on F7 and see what happens. So can you see the word spelling that we have given is not in dictionary. So Excel has given you correct suggestions. You can choose the required suggestion. We want the spelling Excel, and you'll just click on change. Okay, so once you click on change, now the spelling is correct, wherein the extra X is now removed from the spelling Excel, and your spelling is now correct. So these are the 11 shortcuts that we see with respect to the workbook basics.